College football season right around the corner. Wanted to catch up with head coach at CCSU, Coach Lechtenberg. So, Coach, welcome to the back to the podcast.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me. It's always been good to listen to you guys, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so I know heading into year two on the job here at Central. How do you think the first year went?
Well, we had a lot of adversity the first year. I mean, I like the direction we're headed. We had a lot of new guys that first year, and then we ended up battling a lot of injuries and things of that nature. So it didn't go as well as I had hoped in terms of record. But the kids were great. I love my players. I love the direction we're headed. I think we're building to a point where we can compete with championships. We laid a great foundation in the last 12 months to 18 months, like this summer was really good. So we have a lot of things going in the right direction, and that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, what was your biggest takeaway from year one that you look to apply now heading into the future at Central?
Well, I mean, you learn every day on the job. You try to figure out what you can do better. The bottom line is we have to build a foundation, and that's what we were trying to do in year one. The first year we got a brand new weight room in the summer, so we didn't have it open in the summer, so we lost that opportunity. And since then we've recommitted ourselves to becoming a strong football team, and so our off season was predicated on becoming that, and then the summer continued that. So the biggest takeaways is to be a healthy team, you got to be in great condition and strong. And we were very young last year. We only had 8 seniors, and we have about 12 to 14 right now, I think. So we're still relatively young, but we're headed in the right direction. We're becoming an older team, which hopefully we can continue to mature. So older, mature football teams tend to perform better, and that's what we're hoping to get to as we kind of continue to build this thing.
You mentioned the strength and conditioning there as one thing, but what have been some of the other focuses of you and your staff as you get ready to prepare for this upcoming season?
Well, I mean, obviously, we spend a lot of time. We have leadership academies that help us understand the leadership components to being on a football team. We do that a lot. We do a lot of development that's not related directly to football. We think it relates, whether it's academic, football, social responsibilities, big in our program, which is community service.
Hmm.
So we try to provide them with a well-rounded opportunity to develop for themselves as a player. And then from a football standpoint, we have to continue to get better, continue to recruit well, continue to evaluate well, and develop our players. So development has been the biggest thing for our coaching staff right now is help these guys become the best players that they can be.
So for those who might not have followed CCSU football a ton last year, just getting into the football thing of things heading into the fall now, take me through your roster a little bit on both sides of the ball and some guys to keep your eyes out for this coming season.
Yeah, I mean we're in an exciting time. We've got some really talented people that I think are going to have a chance if they can continue to develop, be good. Right now, our quarterback is Brady Olson, who played at UMass. We have Ricky Ortega, who's competing behind him, and Barry Brown have done a nice job. But Brady's leading the way. He's got a lot of talent, and we're excited about his progress in our system. We have a couple of pretty good backs. Elijah Howard obviously rushed for close to 1,000 yards, and then we brought in a kid who rushed for 1,000 yards at Gannon last year. So we have two guys with some depth behind them, some little bit more experienced guys from last year behind them. So our backfield is better in terms of depth, and obviously Elijah was in his first year of playing running back since high school, so he's hopefully going to be a more well-rounded player. Delvin Atafa is back at receiver. He caught some balls for us last year. Paul Marsh has continued to get better. They continue to battle through some injuries, but they're exciting spots. Mike Plaskin's gotten better. So we got some guys behind him really pushing for playing time. And then our offensive line, I think, is exciting. They have to continue to improve, but we have some really good young players that I think are going to end up being really good players in this league. The challenge for them is how fast can they become a good offensive line. We lost a couple of good players last year, but I'm excited about our depth. We have 7 to 8 guys that can really play on that front. So we're excited about that. And then on defense, we struggled at times last year. We had I think 14 scholarship guys missed 4 or more games last year on the defensive side alone. So we were pretty beat up all year. I feel better about our depth. We have some good playmaking. Obviously, Kamal Clark is a returning all-conference player. We're hoping he continues to improve and raises his game. Tristan Armstrong and Gav Bryson, and Davon Walden, Christian Hernandez, some of our corners. that are competing for playing time. There's other guys in there, Ramel West. We got some guys at corner that are competing. We have to cover better than we did last year.
Mhm.
So I'm excited about our depth. And then, our safety room has gotten better as well. We have Dale McClain missed all last year. He's a transfer from UConn. We have Javis Rayside, a transfer from Bryant. And then we have some young kids, Chris Jean, Navon Mitchell, Eric Jackson, that are competing to play. And then our inside backing group right now, Jack Stahl, Malachi Wright are kind of leading the way. We feel pretty good about them. It's just the young guys are going to have to come help add some depth. And then on our D line, like I said, we got some pretty good players. We're just a lot more bodies than we've had last year that can compete. Jaden Anderson's back at outside backer. Gavin Taylor is an explosive player. We just got to continue to get him to be more disciplined. But anyway, I like our both sides of the ball depth. Who can emerge as like the impact players? I'm not exactly sure yet. Sometimes that just kind of happens naturally. And then our special teams should be an asset to us this year. We have a returning all-conference kicker and a second-team all-conference punter. We have one of the best snappers in FCS football. So if we're going to win some of these games, we're going to have to play well in special teams as well. And I'm excited that we have good kids that are competing right there for those spots.
Summer is here, and if you want to be champion of the grill, make sure you're serving the best hot dogs around. I'm talking about Martin Rosel's. Our friends in New Britain have been making their small batch gourmet hot dogs for 4 generations using Martin's original recipes from 1928. So if you want to dominate your cookouts, just like the Huskies dominated the tournament, be sure to grab some Rosel dogs at your local grocery store or pay a visit to their retail store on Grove Street in New Britain. As always, go support a Yukon fan-owned business. And now, back to the episode. If anyone's a college football fan, they obviously know the Phil Steele name and what that means when you're talked about from Phil Steele. I know you mentioned Kamal Clark earlier, getting the Phil Steele recognition as his preseason Defensive Player of the Year in the NEC. Take me through just a little bit more of what he means to your defense there.
Well, he's not a very big guy, so he's got to continue to keep getting strong, but he's going to be physical. He's aggressive. He communicates well. And quite honestly, he's very instinctive. In our defense, if our safeties aren't making plays, then we're going to struggle. And so we need to be both safeties. We need 3 or 4 guys that can consistently make plays. But Kamal, his instincts and his physical play, especially given his stature, are very impressive. And that's what he'll have to continue to. He's just around the football a lot. He gets close, he hustles, he plays hard every snap. And that's why he creates big plays. So we're excited. We just want him to take the next step and continue to get more consistent.
As you head towards year 2 here of your time at Central, you gave yourself a very challenging schedule this year. I know you got Central Michigan, you got UMass, and 2 FBS teams there. What was your thought process behind the schedule as you were putting it together this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's year 2. We want to have some measuring stick games. Like we know the league's always tough, but our goal is to win the NEC championship. That's our goal as a program, to be somebody that can compete every year. And so those games are going to challenge. We're playing the co-Ivy League champs, and we're playing Fordham, who's picked to be competitive in the Patriot League, and obviously the FBS game. So, some of these high-level conference FCS games are just as challenging as some of the MAC and UMasses of the world anyway. So for me, it makes sense to challenge yourself in that way and hopefully gain something for our program out of it. UMass is a great team, great program, but it's an hour up the road for us. So it's a great game for our fans. It's a great game for our kids. And then going out to Central Michigan will be a huge challenge. They've got one of the better teams in the MAC this year, I think, by the time it's said and done, just looking at their talent. So it's definitely a challenge. Our guys are going to have to face some adversity. And, we get to see where we are as a program. And we get in the league games, we got to go try to win league games. If we win our league, we get to go to the playoffs. And so the out of conference is just a way to check ourselves and see where we are as in the building process.
Yeah. When you talk about some of these games being measuring stick games, what are you looking for out of your team in those games against some of that top tier competition?
Well, first of all, we're going to go try to win. That's what we're going to try to do. But I want to make sure that our guys are competitive and competing every snap, no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw. We're going to go compete. We want to be if we're going to be one of the best teams in our league, then we're going to have to play well in those games. You can't play poorly in those games and expect to go play well against your conference. It just doesn't work that way. So the most important thing for me is that we're competitive on every snap, and then we play well, and we keep getting better as the non-conference season goes. If we can see consistent improvement, that'll help us build some confidence. And our goal when we go in there in any game is to win. So there won't be one game that we don't go in there expecting to go compete and give ourselves a chance. And to do that, we got to eliminate mistakes, create some big plays, and limit our opponents from making those big plays. When you're going against really good people, your mistakes are magnified, and we have to limit that.
How are you feeling about the NEC heading into this year?
The NEC is a great league. I think the league is very balanced every year, quite honestly. There's not I was here a decade ago and it was similar, it was different people. But essentially, if you came to play every week, you would have a chance. And if you had an off week, you're going to get beat. It didn't matter who you played. It's very similar to a lot of leagues. So I'm excited. I'm excited. The coaches are great. We got great coaching in this league, really good football. And it's 50-50 every week, the way I look at it. Like there's no easy games and there's nobody that if you go play really well, you can't beat. So in that way, I love the league because we all have issues. We all have things we have advantages of, and we all have our issues in terms of recruiting, in terms of money, in terms of all those things. So to me, it's a balanced league. It gives us a fair opportunity to go compete, and that's all you can ask for is a fair opportunity to go win your league.
For sure. I'll wrap with this one for you, Coach. Year two for you. What's been your favorite thing about being back here in Connecticut?
I mean, quite honestly, my favorite thing about being back in Connecticut is the kids. We have great, like it was the same when I was here in 2010, 2011. We have unbelievable people that go to school here. They're awesome. And the alumni that I used to coach and that have come back and speak to our kids, that's my favorite thing. We have a great culture of people. Central Connecticut has produced highly successful people in all fields. And so that's really, I love being around our guys. They're really enjoyable. Obviously, my family's close. My wife's family's from here, which is huge for us too. So that's my favorite thing is great people, great kids. And I really like the direction that they're headed.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking some time here in the preseason to come on and talk about your team a little bit. I know everyone's excited for the season ahead. We saw some buzz at Central around the men's basketball program this past year, and I think we're all excited to see some of that on the football side this year.
Hope we can match it. Coach Sellers did an amazing job, and hopefully we can emulate what he's doing over there on the basketball side.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thanks so much for the time and best of luck this season.
All right, have a great night. Appreciate it.